start.
Yes.
So what was going through your mind the second of that?
Just finished the deal. We had some pretty big leads twice in the game. Got ourselves back in it, and then obviously late to make that comeback. It's like let's go finish it now. We had the momentum. Love the looks that we had. Obviously missed some easy ones, the layups and dunks that we're going to knock those down. But even the 3-point shots, we were wide open on a lot of those. Just wanted to really move the ball and get the open looks. We knew they were a heavy shift team, so at that point it was just like let's finish the deal. We got ourselves back in it and gave up a few leads. So.
You were talking about the look from White House.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really the second quarter when we were up 10 or 11, that's what got them back in the game. We tried to make a few home run passes, thread the needle, especially in transition. We were really doing well, 13-2 at halftime as far as fast break points. So we knew if we got stops, we can get out and run. But I felt like we tried to make the home run pass and let them back in the game in the second quarter. Late in the game, I think fatigue took place a little bit as far as some of the decision making and the shots that we missed. But yeah, an area we definitely have to clean up. We forced 19, but gave up 18 ourselves.
You probably went into this game with some idea of how you would utilize Jaylen, but I'd imagine Jaylen probably knew that plan.
Yeah, especially early on, he came out firing. We wanted to get him a shorter stint early. He was playing so well. We didn't want to take away his momentum, but at times in the game, we still were cognizant of that and trying to find him a break here and there. But he was rolling. Plenty of timeouts there, so we got a little extra rest, and we kept him in for some longer stretches than we planned.
And at the opposite end of that spectrum was Jason, who had a not typical kind of game he had. Was it their defense? Was it just missing shots? Was it a combination of those things? What did you see out there?
A little bit of both. I think he played in the crowd a little bit too much at times. When we were talking about trusting our teammates, trust the pass. They're gonna crowd like we talked about, and we showed them on video before the game. So they forced some turnovers there, and we played with too many bodies. But the open looks were, shots that he's not gonna miss. 2 for 15 from 3. That's not gonna happen again, obviously. But other than maybe 3 where he settled on a switch, they were wide open looks, and so you could see him growing frustrated with that. And we tried to get him some stuff closer to the basket, get him downhill. And they were showing a crowd there, but at that point, that's when he has to become the playmaker and find other guys.
You went small a lot in this game. Was that matchup based, or is it just based on your roster and what you like?
Well, we got obviously Al's missing right now, so that's part of it. But we just really wanted to force their hand. We knew we could play up tempo and hurt them like we did in the first half and even most of the second half. But really, we liked the matchup with Rob on Randall, so we felt comfortable with all our smalls on Mitchell Robinson, and just wanted to keep the big matchup with Rob there more so than anything. So we kind of staggered him and Grant.
Ime, did you consider challenging the charging call on Jaylen?
Yeah, we looked at it. We got a monitor behind the bench, and they said he was moving, and so I trusted our guys, but. Also, we were considering the timeouts at the time. We only had 2 left and didn't want to waste one that late in the game, in a tight game.
So what goes in, which kind of your philosophy on that in terms of challenging? That was a pivotal call.
Yeah.
You get free throws if you could.
Yeah, really time and score situations obviously differentiate in the first half from the second half or guys fouls as far as that. But, we're looking back pretty quickly. We have on those questionable calls, we have our guys on the monitor right behind, and they said it was a charge, so we went with that. But we also, like I said, talked about the timeouts. If we don't get this, we only have 1 left with about 3 minutes, two minutes left, so we thought about that as well.
What went wrong late with the defense against Evan Fournier and does not have to get so many open looks?
Yeah, we switched from switching everything to switching 1 through 4, and guys got confused and went under a little bit there, expecting Rob to switch out, and so changing our coverage in the fourth quarter and the overtimes, we wanted to keep Rob on Julius Randle there, and some of our guys just messed up the coverage. Got to be more communicative. We switched it up late in the game, and we knew we made a few mistakes that kept them in the game in the first overtime for sure.
Have you ever been part of that, of a game like that, where there's so many twists and turns, especially late?
I'm sure I have. I mean, it's different for your first game as a head coach, I guess. But yeah, I've been in some crazy ones. But the back and forth was crazy there, and chances to seize the momentum. We had the layup and the missed dunk, and felt like we would have been in good shape there. But it's a tough one to give away, especially when you work your way to get back in it. But it's only the first game, and so we got to bounce back on Friday at home.
On a 3-pointer that Marcus made, what was the plan for that particular possession?
To tie it at the end?
Yeah, the one that did.
Well, and to my point with the timeouts, we had used our final one already and made the shot and had the foul. So we had a full court play. We wanted to catch Jason moving on the run. We were thinking they would foul as well, but Tibbs typically doesn't do that. So Jason happened to fall down, and it may have worked in our favor because they double teamed him, and then we got it to the middle and got that open shot there. So tough situation without a timeout. They're late, but had something Jason on the move and trying to draw the crowd and kick, and it just worked out differently because he fell down.
Going back to what you were saying about the switching, with Rob, do you want him to be kind of back on his heels and give a little space so he doesn't get driven by, or do you want him to switch up and be up on the balls?
Just personnel based. A guy like him and Fournier, we want him to be up higher than a guy like Derrick Rose or Barrett. So, we talk about KYP, knowing your personnel, and we cover it heavily with all the guys so they know all their matchups. So it's different for different guys, but once he's on them, we feel he has great length and explosiveness off the court. He's one of those guys that blocks jump shots, which is a rare thing to do. So we want him to use use his head, know who he's playing against, and use his strengths as well. And so he can back up some, gap him a little bit, and still get a hand up in the great contest.
Ime, pregame, you said you really were looking for effort. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that was no question. They played hard as hell. I mean, execution-wise, we let them back in the game twice. You don't want to give up, 2 double-digit leads, but to work our way back from a double-digit lead, the effort was there, no question. I think, like I mentioned, fatigue a little bit late, especially for the first game, playing those heavy minutes, but effort was there. Just missed some open shots, and like I said, I told them in preseason, our first game against Orlando, we missed a ton and came back against Toronto, and I feel like we had those same looks. We'll do the same thing next time, make those shots.
Their run-outs, like topping, getting to the rim, and the easy points they got. What can you do to kind of contain that? It seemed like that's what was key.
Yeah, that was one of the points of emphasis that we showed on the film. Toppin gets probably 1 or 2 leak-outs a game, so we know he's a contestant fly-by guy. If you're not involved in the action, we want that weak side sprint back in transition. I mentioned before the game they're playing with much more pace, and that's a way to get him going in the game. So we showed that specifically on the tape before the game, him leaking out, and it did hurt us a few times. Some were turnover based, but then some were, just missed shots, not us not getting back in transition.
Is that, what do you do to get back in transition? Like, how do you kind of change that?
Yeah, if you're not involved in the play on the weak side, or if you're not crashing, even if you're big, you got to start making your way back. We work on transition drills every day, so it's something we got to tighten up some. I think it hurt us at times in the preseason, so just keep working on that, knowing if you're not in the play and you're not crashing, you're getting back and building that wall there.
You've noticed at times this year the offense falling in isolation. When that happens, what kind of adjustments do you try to make to get back in the flowing offense, ball movement from the sideline?
Call some sets to get to force movement. At times we had some favorable matchups as well, and when Jaylen is rolling like that and he gets the right matchup, he was really getting downhill, getting his own shots and getting guys involved. So it's a little bit of mix, like I talked about pregame, balancing it out where we don't get too stagnant, hunting mismatches, but at the same time, if a guy is rolling like that, we like him getting baskets or initiating offense.
Were you happy with the balance today?
At times, but it did get stagnant, but we felt we had matchups, so we were doing a little bit of both. If I didn't like it, I tried to slow it down and get us into some of our movements. So.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Brought to you by your New England Ford dealers, who are celebrating Ford Truck Month with great deals on Ranger, Super Duty, and the redesigned F-150. Ford Trucks. Built Ford tough.